The episode kicks off with trouble right at Ashur's door. An aedile named Euvides shows up unannounced and gets straight to the point. Proclus claims Ashur caused him serious losses and wants compensation. Ashur hides his irritation behind sarcasm, offering wine and olives, but the message is clear: this is official now. Euvides explains he is there to reclaim Obiter's Medicus, who Ashur acquired at the auction. Ashur points out this could have been handled quietly, but Euvides insists on proper channels. After a brief exchange with Cornelia, a deal is struck, and Euvides leaves, forcing Ashur to give up the Medicus. Once he's gone, Ashur explodes. He knows involving aediles means Senator Gabinius will hear about this, and his reputation is already damaged after the auction. Hilara tries to steady him, reminding him he's always found a way out before. When Ashur asks if she still believes in him, she says yes, and he admits he needs that faith right now. With no Medicus left, Hilara promises to search all of Capua for another. Later, Ashur is summoned to Gabinius' villa. Before facing the senator, he shares a quiet, charged moment with Veridia over a board game. She talks about how pieces don't move on their own. They're pushed by firm or gentle hands, depending on the goal. The conversation turns intimate, and she tells him not to drown in present loss, but to look toward the horizon. Just as things peak, Gabinius walks in and the moment dies. Gabinius announces surprise games to lift Capua's spirits after the recent attacks. Aquilia is supposed to headline the Primus against a dangerous Scythian fighter from Proclus' house. Ashur agrees to prepare her. Gabinius then presses Ashur about Caesar and Pompey, hinting that restoring balance may require sacrifice. Ashur accepts the burden, even knowing the cost. As the games approach, everything collapses. Aquilia is injured. The matches are already posted, and Ashur can't remove Tarchon without causing a scandal. Furious, he admits there is only one option left, and it's a risky one. By the end of the episode, Ashur watches from the stands as his plans fail one by one. Achilles' absence no longer matters. Calidus is dead, and Proclus has stolen the crowd's favor. Viridia's final words to him echo like a verdict: look toward the horizon. Proclus sends Satyrus to retrieve the Medicus, using him as a messenger rather than a man. Satyrus asks where his brothers are, demanding the right to bury them. He's denied even that. When he asks why he was spared, the answer is brutal: he's alive only to deliver suffering. Chorus twists the knife further, telling Satyrus to live with his grief until the gods finally take him. Satyrus is left broken but breathing. That pain explodes in the arena. Satyrus faces Helios of Ashur's house, and against all expectations destroys him quickly and violently. The crowd erupts. Even Proclus is shocked, admitting that maybe the little man has more worth than he thought. Back at the Ludus, Chorus reclaims his title as Doctore and restores Aquilia as champion. The gladiators cheer as training resumes, with Calidus paired alongside her. But the peace doesn't last. Tarchon demands the champion's title for himself, claiming he's earned it. Calidus defends Aquilia, and the argument turns ugly fast. Tarchon accuses his father of denying him comfort, while taking it for himself, and finally renounces him outright. Later, Aquilia tries to make peace. Tarchon says he'll only accept it if she gives up the title. When she refuses, he sneers that she won it only because she's a woman. Aquilia snaps, reminding him how many men have died by her blade. The argument turns physical, and she's injured in the clash. Ashur loses it when he hears. Chorus says that with a Medicus, Aquilia might be ready by month's end, but there is no Medicus. Ashur declares Tarchon will never be champion, and says if the matches weren't already approved, he'd throw him off a cliff. In the arena, Tarchon fights Fiction of Proclus' house. The match spirals out of control. A Roman spectator is killed and chaos erupts. Despite calls to stop, Tarchon finishes Fiction and wins. The crowd roars, and Gabinius declares justice already served. Calidus tries to praise his son, but is coldly rejected. Moments later, Calidus himself is thrown back into the Primus, only to face Proclus' final move. Hilara celebrates briefly with Ashur, but the mood shifts when she calls him by name. Ashur tells her bluntly that while he values her above everyone else in the house, his heart belongs to someone else, Veridia. Hilara takes it quietly, but the hurt is obvious. Later, she admits to Messia that Ashur loves Gabinius' daughter and calls herself a fool. Messia comforts her, saying rejection dulls with time, even if it never truly disappears. Politics dominate Gabinius' household, with Caesar rising and Crassus shifting alliances. The threat of a triumvirate looms. Cossutia suggests the only solution left, marrying Viridia to Pompey. Gabinius is furious at first, but eventually agrees to consider it. When Viridia confronts them, Gabinius explains the stakes and leaves the choice in her hands, warning it will shape far more than her own future. Later, during the games, Ashur learns the truth. Viridia has been asked to marry Pompey. He begs her not to do it, promising he would never marry her for power. She touches his face gently, then walks away. She returns to her family and accepts the proposal. With Achalia unable to fight, Ashur presents Calidus as her replacement. The crowd boos, then Proclus reveals his final shock, a Scythian who is also a woman. The crowd goes wild. The fight is brutal and relentless. Calidus fights with everything he has, encouraged by Tarchon, but it's not enough. He's stabbed again and again before finally falling dead in the sand. Tarchon watches in horror as his father dies. As the crowd cheers, Gabinius tells Ashur that Achilles' absence no longer matters. The games were a success. Viridia turns to Ashur one last time and repeats the words that now sting more than ever: look toward the horizon.